Imagine that today you receive 11 messages. 10 of them all say the same thing. Great job. One says, "Can we talk tomorrow?" Nothing else. No explanation, no context, just 6 words. Can we talk tomorrow? You read it once, then again. You put your phone away. A few minutes later, you check it again. Not because anything has changed, but because something has. Inside your mind. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe they're asking for help. Maybe it's good news. But somehow, those possibilities don't arrive first. Instead, your thoughts begin quietly searching for problems. Did I make a mistake? Did I forget something? Is something wrong? The conversation hasn't happened. Nothing has actually gone wrong. And yet, your body begins responding as though it already has. Most of us think we experience the world as it is. We assume that our memories reflect reality, that our attention naturally settles on what matters, and that our emotions respond in proportion to what actually happens. But they don't, because your mind was never designed simply to record experience. It was designed to keep you alive. For most of human history, missing one dangerous threat carried a far greater cost than overlooking one pleasant moment. The person who noticed the snake hidden beneath the leaves survived. The person who dismissed every strange sound as harmless sometimes didn't. Over thousands of generations, our minds slowly became extraordinarily sensitive to anything that might signal danger, loss, rejection, or pain. That ancient survival system still lives inside us today, quietly influencing what captures our attention, what we remember, what we replay, and what we struggle to let go. Imagine attending a performance review at work. For 20 minutes, your manager tells you that clients trust you. Your projects are strong. Your coworkers enjoy working with you. Your performance has improved throughout the year. Then, just before the meeting ends, they say one more thing. "I'd like you to work on speaking up more during meetings." The review ends. You thank them. You walk back to your desk. And without realizing it, one sentence quietly begins pushing every other sentence aside. By dinner, you're no longer thinking about the praise. You're replaying the criticism. Not because it was the most important part of the meeting, but because your mind instinctively treated it as the most urgent. This happens so automatically that it can feel like reality itself, as though the criticism simply mattered more. But what if it didn't? What if your mind was giving one piece of information far more weight than it deserved? That possibility leads us to one of the most powerful forces shaping human perception: the negativity bias. The remarkable thing about the negativity bias isn't simply that we notice negative experiences. It's that we remember them long after everything around them has quietly faded away. Imagine ending an ordinary day with your family. There were conversations, shared meals, small jokes, comfortable silence. Nothing extraordinary. Then, just before everyone goes to bed, a brief disagreement begins. Someone misunderstands a comment. Voices rise. A door closes a little harder than usual. 10 minutes later, it's over. Apologies are made. The house becomes quiet again. But the next morning, which part of the evening comes back first? Usually, not the laughter. Not the peaceful moments. Not everything that went well. Instead, the disagreement quietly takes center stage. The emotional weight of one uncomfortable moment begins outweighing hours of ordinary happiness. Not because it was larger, but because your mind treated it as more important to remember. Now imagine repeating that process every day for years. Thousands of ordinary moments pass unnoticed, but disappointments, embarrassments, mistakes, and criticism leave slightly deeper impressions. Without realizing it, your memory begins assembling a picture of your life. Not from everything that happened, but from what your mind decided was most important to keep. Slowly, the world can begin feeling more dangerous, more disappointing, or more uncertain than it actually is. Not because reality changed, because the highlights your memory preserved weren't randomly chosen. They were filtered through a survival system that evolved to remember danger first. This is one reason two people can experience the very same day and later describe it almost as though they lived through different events. One remembers the unexpected compliment. The other remembers the awkward conversation. Neither person is lying. Both are remembering honestly. But honesty isn't always the same thing as completeness. Our memories are not cameras. They are editors. And one of their oldest editing rules is remarkably simple. When in doubt, keep the moments that might protect us tomorrow, even if they quietly convince us that yesterday was worse than it actually was. The negativity bias doesn't simply change what we remember. Over time, it can begin changing what we notice. Imagine walking through your neighborhood. Children are playing in front yards. Neighbors wave as they pass. Someone holds a door open for a stranger. A couple laughs together while walking their dog. These moments happen every day, quietly, without demanding your attention. Now imagine one driver speeds through a stop sign. Instantly, your attention locks onto it. Your body responds. Your memory records it. Hours later, that dangerous moment still feels vivid. The dozens of ordinary moments have already disappeared. Not because they weren't real, but because your mind concluded they weren't urgent enough to preserve. This is how the negativity bias slowly shapes perception, not by inventing danger, but by allowing danger to occupy more space inside your memory than safety ever does. Understanding this bias doesn't mean pretending difficult things never happen. Pain is real. Loss is real. Disappointment deserves to be acknowledged. The answer is not to replace reality with forced optimism. The answer is to recognize that your first impression of reality may already be incomplete. If your mind naturally gives greater weight to criticism than encouragement, to mistakes than progress, to danger than safety, then seeing clearly requires something surprisingly simple. Deliberately noticing what your mind overlooked. The conversation that went well, the kindness that asked for nothing in return, the problem that quietly resolved itself, the ordinary day that never became a crisis. Not because these moments are more important than life's hardships, but because they are equally real. For thousands of years, your ancestors survived because their minds remembered danger. Today, most of us face a different challenge. Not surviving the wilderness, but seeing the world as it actually is. A world containing difficulty and beauty, risk and generosity, failure and quiet success. The negativity bias doesn't disappear once you recognize it, but from that moment forward, you gain something remarkable. The ability to pause before accepting your first emotional conclusion as the complete truth. Because the story your mind tells first is not always the whole story. If this documentary changed the way you see your own thoughts, then perhaps tomorrow, when one difficult moment begins demanding all of your attention, you'll notice something else. 10 ordinary moments still quietly waiting to be seen.